Okay, so wanted to take a look at the Nexus S. The Google Nexus S is the latest flagship Google device manufactured by Samsung, very similar to the Galaxy S line of phones. But of course it is running the new version of the Android OS, which is 2.3, aka Gingerbread. So I want to show a couple of things that are new in the operating system. The first one is that Google has actually made first off, well, we should talk about the speed. It's very, very fast and very, very smooth. Transitions are super fast and speedy. Opening apps is really quick. Everything feels very, very tight. Finger tracking is good. They definitely have done some polish on just in terms of finger tracking and animation and frame rate for home screen navigation and app navigation. It feels really good. There's a couple of nice little weird little kind of nice visual perks like this here. When you scroll to an end of a list, you get this little burst of orange color, and as you can see, they've changed these the color of the icons here. They've changed the styling of some of the icons in the applications, and there's a few places the dialer has been updated, which looks pretty nice. It's definitely a more sophisticated looking OS than the previous version. A lot more black, a lot more gray. It has a very glossy look. In fact, when you pull these menus up, they're semi-transparent, so you can see the content behind them. And here you can see the task manager, which is now easily accessible. And also here, there's been some graphical changes. They've got this sort of strange liquidy thing down at the bottom here to show how much storage or memory you're using. Anyhow, so that's a couple of the visual things, but another big one that Google has been talking about is the changes they've made to their keyboard, which you can see here. Now, we're kind of griping about this a little bit because I just want to compare it to the keyboard on the Nexus 1. This is Froyo on the left and Gingerbread on the right. Now, you can see they've made the keys actually a little bit smaller. So the Nexus S is slightly harder to type on, in our opinion, than the Nexus 1 or than a Froyo. Not sure why they did this, but for some reason it feels like it's harder to type on. We've never been huge fans of the stock Android keyboard, but this doesn't help the keyboard's case, though they have done a few things that are very good with the new keyboard. For instance, the threading is now better, as you can see here when typing, much more multi-touch feeling, and you're able to do something which is kind of an iPhone gesture, which is touch punctuation, and well, that didn't work, but touch punctuation and scroll up to a number or some punctuation. Unfortunately, it doesn't snap back to the QWERTY when you're finished. You have to hit the ABC button again, so it sort of defeats the purpose of having that there, in our opinion. But still, there are some nice new features in the keyboard. We wish the keys felt a little larger, especially on a 4-inch screen. Also, they have improved text selection for copy and paste, and it's improved in some places and definitely not improved in others. So here's the browser. Now, when you select text in the browser, it's very similar to using an iPhone. You long press on the text you want to select, and you get these anchors, and then you can drag the anchors, tap there, and you get your text copied. That seems great, very straightforward. The anchors are a new addition. They work really well. However, if you're in Gmail and you want to select text, long pressing doesn't really get you anywhere. In order to select text here, you have to hit the menu button, hit More, and then hit Select Text, and you don't even get text selection right off the bat. You get this, it seems like a holdover from Linux. You get a little cursor here, then you can select text, you get your anchors, and away you go with text selection. Interestingly enough, in messaging, in the SMS app, you have the same, you would think you have the same situation, but you actually don't. To select this text, you can long press on it, but the only choice you get is to copy the message text. And when you're editing text, as you can see here, you can long press and you again get a, hold on, that's not working. You get a contextual menu if you long press that you can select word or select all, but you can't just select the word. I mean, I don't know why it doesn't just go into text selection mode when you long press on the word. Very unusual. In Google Reader, you can't select text at all. And so we're kind of at pains to figure out why Google has made this such a weird, inconsistent experience. There doesn't seem to be a consistent way to do it anywhere in the OS. So this is obviously something they need to unify along with other small things, but we think this one they should really try to do something about it as soon as possible. So a couple of other things in the OS that are of note. First off, they've updated some of the live wallpapers. Let's put the live wallpaper on here. Oh, that's not live. You can see how quick this just zaps from one thing to another. It's really, really fast. They've updated the Nexus live wallpaper. Let's turn this on. And before, when we would run the live wallpaper with on our home screen, we felt like you could see noticeable slowdown both in the wallpaper and with scrolling. Doesn't seem to be the case on the Nexus S. Actually works really nicely. We're not a big fan of live wallpaper in general, but as you can see here, there's seemingly no performance hit, which is just great, and I think shows either the power of the Hummingbird CPU in this thing or the improvements they've made to the Android OS in terms of graphics processing. But a couple other quick things. This phone has a near-field communications chip, which means that if you've got something like this, which is a recommended on Google card, this has NFC. It says NFC circuitry in it as well. And so what happens is if you put the phone on it, it takes you to this tag link, which is a video. And the idea here is you could be at a store or any kind of place that has one of these guys on the window. You hold your phone up to it, and you get some information. It's read-only right now, so it can't write anything to your phone, which I think is good. And Google has provided an app called Tags, which keeps track of stuff that you have tagged with your, that's interesting, unknown tag type. Where is it? Oh, here's some tags that we've grabbed. So you can do star and you can delete from here, and kind of handy. Another thing that they've added is a downloads app, which actually shows what you've downloaded from the internet, or I believe it does email downloads as well, and kind of a nice way to keep track of that stuff. But this is kind of the snow leopard of Android updates, because there's a lot of stuff under the hood, which is much of it geared towards gaming, but not a huge number of improvements. Overall, it's a good update, great update for Android, but we're really looking forward to Honeycomb and seeing some of these UI discrepancies laid to rest, hopefully. So yeah, that's a look at the Google Nexus S.